Ben, it's good to have you with us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's talk about where you're headed in terms of the 23-24 season. There's been a lot of talk and interviews with Jacques Vaughn saying you're in 5-on-5s, you're ready to go, you feel good physically and mentally. Where do you say you're at right now?
I feel great. This is the best I've felt in a long time. I had a real opportunity this summer to really focus on myself, take my time and rehab properly, and get to a place where, you know, I'm comfortable and physically able to compete at the highest level.
Yeah, and the back is nothing to joke around with. That's a serious thing. How much pain were you in last year? Was it discomfort? Was it limiting you from, you know, jumping, driving, cutting? Just give us a sense of that.
There was multiple times where you didn't see Ben Simmons out there, and that's just because I physically couldn't do it. But for myself, my job is to put myself out there and try to do what I can on the court. Looking at it now, I was put into a place where, you know, I probably wasn't feeling the greatest. You know, I probably needed more time to rehab, truthfully, but at the same time, I want to compete and help my teammates win. And it was a different situation. You know, we had different guys here, so at the time, I'm doing what I can physically on the court. But I'm grateful and happy to be in a place where I'm at now, to be out here and be comfortable, be able to take hits and get to the rim and do Ben Simmons type things. So I'm happy.
I read an interview where you kind of did a deep dive into the way you actually felt at that time when you couldn't perform the way you wanted. And I was thinking, like, can anybody that doesn't play at a high level like you or just relate to it? It's like a 65-year-old guy that has a cranky back that can't get out of his recliner, has a hard time getting out of his car. You were talking like there were moments that it was just a constant issue.
And I look at it now, I'm like, sitting down here is comfortable. There were times where I couldn't sit down properly. I couldn't get into cars and be comfortable. Sitting down too long, I wasn't able to get up and be able to perform and do things I needed to do. So for me now, I'm looking at it, I'm like, day-to-day things are easier. So I think that also affects you. You know, it takes a toll on your mental. You know, if you're not able to compete and do the things that you naturally can do, it's frustrating. But I'm in a place now where, you know, every day is a lot easier. Feeling comfortable, I can get up, go work, and do my job.
You're the most accomplished player on this roster. How important is it for you?
I ain't been to the finals.
well, that's true, but I meant from an individual standpoint. You know, Rookie of the Year and, you know, other honors that you've won. How important for this team to be successful is it for you to get back to that level?
I think it's huge. I think we need everybody at their peak and their highest level to come in and compete every night, from the players to the coaching staff. But I'm happy with the crew we have now. I think we have a great young team. You know, everyone's willing to do what we need to do to win the championship. So we'll see how it goes at the start of the camp. I'm looking forward to getting on the court with the guys and just seeing where we can go.
I would imagine being in different training camps, you see guys that really work hard. You see other guys that probably don't put the work in that they should. What about this crew? You talked about it a little bit, like on a daily basis, when you see the work they're doing, are you like, wow?
I'm happy with it because guys come in and it's about working. You know, we don't want any other distractions going on. We just want to come in and do our job, and that's me. I want to come in and work, do my job, compete at a high level and win. Not worried about individual successes. So I believe if everyone's, you know, doing their thing, you know, that equates to team success. So I'm excited. I think the coaching staff is great. Teammates are great, so I'm looking forward to it.
You want to get the ball, you can grab it off the rim and start the break. What about the guys that you're surrounded with? Guys like Mel Bridges, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton, who could run the court.
It's exciting to have a group of guys that are willing to run, space the floor, get their shots. I don't think we have anybody on the team that's worried about, you know, the individual shots or anything like that. I'm excited because I know I'm going to find my teammates pushing the ball, and I know we have multiple guys who can push the ball also.
There's one thing he's doing that we need to get into, and maybe you have. He's doing Pilates, by the way.
Oh, it's the best.
Stretching.
It's the best. So I do it every day. It's something that I've built into just my everyday life, and it helps tremendously.
Were you told by doctors to do that, or that was something you wanted to do on your own?
So this summer I really took my rehab into my own hands. I'm working with somebody I've worked with for years, and we got to a place where just I need to know Pilates is something I need to do every day, activation and just keeping those muscles firing and going. And the core strength is important.
We also talked a little about this off air, that you moved to Miami in the off season. You love to fish. You'd write a book about fishing, or fishing is my zen,
I need to. I'm actually getting a boat now, so I'm very excited about that. I'm ready to get out there and fish on it. But we got business to handle first in Brooklyn, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right, as a point guard, assess what's gone on in the Eastern Conference the last week. Damian Lillard going to Milwaukee, then Drew Holiday, Portland, now on Boston.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things that happen, but I can't really put my focus into, other teams. I think, obviously, we'll all be watching. I think, some great players in Dame and Drew have moved around. So it'll be interesting to see how those teams look. But right now, my focus is with the Nets and just seeing how we can get better every day.
Already talked to some of the players about the Uptempo game that you guys will be able to play, how that might help you get a few extra wins against guys that maybe don't see that coming. Do you feel that's the case?
That's something I've noticed coming into the league years ago. When you play with pace and everyone's able to keep up with that pace, it's hard to stop. Not everybody in the league wants to run. You got some guys out there, maybe their cardio's not the best, but I think looking at this team, I think we can be one of the fittest teams and fast-paced teams in the league.
Is the frustrating part being injured, knowing you could do more, and then you're almost treated like a human pinata? You got everybody hitting you.
Yeah.
How difficult has the last 2 years been from that standpoint?
It's difficult, but at the same time, it comes with it. Like, I know what's expected of me. I know what I can do and what I'm capable of, so I get it. I mean, if I was a fan, I'd be frustrated too, but also I know what's going on. So physically, when I wasn't able to do it, that's just what it was. So that's why I took the whole summer, put all the focus into myself and my body, and get back to where I need to be.
Are you good at blocking out that outside noise, or does it ever affect you?
You gotta learn. You can't be soft. It's one of those things where you just gotta deal with it. You gotta live with it. But that's the expectation. If nobody was saying anything, then people probably don't care. So that's just a part of who I am. So hopefully when I do great things, people are doing the same things.
I would imagine on the road, too, it's going to get probably a little more silent when they watch you play this season and you're performing the way that
and that's the great thing about sports. You have one day where you're playing terrible and you're playing bad, and the next day you're playing great, and then that's just what sports is. So I'm excited to turn a lot of heads and get back on the floor and do my thing. So I'm looking forward to it.
And we were talking a little bit about Australia.
Yeah.
So let's make some news in Australia. What is your future with the national team? Would you like to play in the Olympics next summer?
My goal is to play in Paris next year. So I'm excited. Knock on wood, stay healthy, everything goes to plan. I want to be wearing an Australian jersey next summer. And what
do you think about the performance of your teammate here, Mel Bridges, for the U.S. at the World Cup?
He's a great basketball player, but he's an even better person, So I look forward to playing with guys like that, great people, guys who just want to win and compete.
There's a theme we're picking up here on Media Day that we all knew about, but it's really coming out, the fact that there's so much more from where you were a year or two ago that we'll see again from Ben Simmons. Same with Mel Bridges, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton talks about wanting to be better. That's got to be exciting that while you might not have the superstars the team used to have, you got guys who want to put the work in and get better.
Exactly, and that's what it's about. Everybody coming in here having one goal, competing and getting better every day. So as long as we're doing that, that's all we can ask for.
Yeah, and do you also feel that when you're at your best, it's starting at the defensive end? Because there's so many guys that you can defend. You could guard multiple positions on the court.
I think I've learned to love defense. Brett Brown was somebody who he actually sat me down and looked at me. He's like, you can be the best defender in the NBA. And, I think from that year later, that's what I was. I was one of the top guys in the league defensively. So I think it's just a mindset, and also just being conscious and putting that effort in every time you step on the floor.
One final question. There was conversations that Jacques Vaughn has had about how maybe you weren't on the same page last year when things were going on, but you are now. How important is that moving forward?
Very important. To be a point guard, you got to have that relationship with your coach, especially, going to a season like this. New faces, new team. I think it starts with us, and we got to keep that relationship going. I think it's just us communicating every day and leading by example.
Ben, look forward to you putting in the work this season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.